We're going to be talking about how stress is stealing your success, how stress is holding you back. We will also want to focus on how stress is causing you to feel exhausted all the time because you are mentally distracted. And I love to start my sessions with questions. Tell me if this sounds familiar to you. You're doing all the work, you're building, you're sharing your posts, you're being consistent, you're pushing for your clients, you're showing up for your clients, you're showing up for your community, you're speaking to your ideal client, you are putting in the work. You're also trying to create harmony between your business and your family life, but somehow you're laying in your bed and you're feeling like your body is breaking down silently in the background. Anybody ever felt like that? I have seen too many women building businesses while their bodies are breaking down. And to me, that is an expensive cost, right? I think that is also an unnecessary cost. But we have been so brainwashed into thinking that we have to do this hustle till we drop type of approach. We have imbibed the hustle culture. But I want to tell you that there's another way that does not put your mental and your physical health at stake. As for me, what is the point of building a business, trying to create a legacy, if you're not going to live long enough to enjoy the fruits of the business or even to complete the legacy so that those coming behind can enjoy it? It just doesn't make sense. I'm a very aggressive action taker. I put in the work, I'm consistent, I push until I get the job done, I show up. I'm not one of those people that disappoint myself. I make sure I get it done. And that has a good side and a bad side. And I am aware of that. I'll tell you my story, but I want to give you some stats. So 62% of entrepreneurs report feeling burned out at least once a year. Every time you run yourself into the ground, you have to give the body time and the mind time to heal. And that now is stealing time from your process of getting to your destination. There's so much easier, better, wiser, more productive if you pace yourself and have a consistent momentum versus you run hard for a short spot from here to there and fall down. And then you have to take 2 months or a month to get back up. And then you get back up and you run hard for a month and then you fall down. You are losing months at time doing that. Versus if you pace yourself and build a momentum that takes you throughout the year, you will get more done without risking your health. Women are 20% more likely to experience stress-related health conditions. We have to embrace the life design, the feminine method, where I teach momentum versus hustle culture. I teach you to rest, recuperate, and keep going again. And I also teach you how to assign time or schedule time for physical and mental healing and recalibration. It is part of the success strategy. It is not wasted time. It's not slowing down your progress. You need to rest so that you can keep going and not crash. Because when you crash, you spend more time healing than you do if you take time to rest throughout the process. And some of the common issues that we face, they are serious. We talk about depression, we talk about hypertension, digestive issues, heart issues, all of these high stress triggers that affect us. And I don't think that any business is worth that. It's best you just do a job, go to a job. I think that would be better. So if you are not willing to incorporate healing and rest and recuperation as part of your strategy, and I don't think that you should put your life or your mental state at risk for a business. I don't teach that, and I'll tell you all why I don't teach that. I remember a few years ago, probably about 10 or 15 years ago, I can't remember, it's a long time now, I was running myself so hard because I was in the early stages of my business. And in the early stages of your business, just as you break through and you start having success and everything just starts to expand and just the business started to run before me. So I was trying to keep up with all the pieces. And I was running myself almost on zero. And I knew I was doing it. And I knew that I was exhausted. And the doctor told me on several occasions that I was struggling with chronic fatigue. But I kept pushing myself until one day my left hand turned blue. And my husband had to rush me to the hospital. And they were trying to figure out, was she having a heart attack or was she having a stroke? So they rushed me from one medical facility in Chaguanas to St. Joseph. And while I was sitting there in the emergency room and the doctors were doing all of their testing and so on, it came to my awareness, listening to the doctors and they talking to me, that I was in the hospital because I ran my body to the ground. I was so mad at myself. My selenium levels was low, my oxygen was low. That's why the hand was turning blue. My body was actually shutting down from exhaustion. I was not listening to all of the red signs, right? And I do not recommend that for you guys because I could have had a different report. I spent 3 days in the hospital, stressed out my husband, had my children home alone, stressed out myself, spent thousands of dollars in a nursing home because I wasn't taking care of myself. Suppose I really had a heart attack, because that happens to entrepreneurs. They drop down. I would have had all the money, I would have had the status, I would have had all the clients and be dead or incapacitated. Think about it. So this hustle culture, it is not in your best interest as entrepreneurs. No matter how you think you must get up and get things done, if your body is telling you that it's time to pull back and rest, then pull back and rest. Even if it's half an hour, do it. Close your eyes, sit still. Even if you can't fall asleep, just sit still and allow the body to rest. Sometimes our nervous system is telling us that it's time to stop, and we are pushing ourselves. We are taking energy drinks and we are trying to burn the midnight oil, and we want to burn the candle on both ends, and we pushing because we think that we are super entrepreneurs. We are superheroes. We are not robots. We are flesh and blood, and we have to always remember that. And we have many, many roles that we fill, and those roles have responsibilities and tasks that must be completed. So which means that we are working very hard to push our business. And this is not to say don't work hard to push your business. It is simply to say pay attention to when the body is talking to you, because if you do not, it could put you where you don't want to be. It could put you in financial distress. It could put your family in financial distress. It could put you in health distress, and worst case scenario, you know what that is. As I said, I've been saying this for the entire series. I'm not teaching you all anything that I haven't been through. I'm not teaching you all anything that I don't know about. I'm not Googling anything and giving it back to you. I ended up in the emergency room because of chronic fatigue weeks before an award show, because everything had to be ready and everything had to be right. Yeah? I eventually got to a place where I started delegating leadership roles within my business. That is the main reason why I started doing that. That was my wake-up call. That everything doesn't have to come to me. I don't have to do everything. I have a big team. I have a big community. I will just delegate. Have you been pushing, or have you ever found yourself pushing yourself to a point that is causing your body or your mental health to crash and you did not listen? Run yourself down so low you have to take 2 or 3 days sleeping before you can get back up and go. There are some hidden costs. Many people push themselves to a place of exhaustion. Many people push themselves to the place of depression. They worry about the business. They worry about not making money. They feel fatigued and lethargic all the time. They have anxiety attacks. Their brains are always racing, worrying about what's happening and when will I finish. Thank you for the heart, Mia Alana. There are many, many entrepreneurs who are there, right? But you've seen it with your mom. Well, encourage your mom to stop that, all right? And that's probably why you don't do it, because you've seen it and you've probably experienced the impact of it, all right? So there are some hidden costs of this hustle culture that's just too high. That is just too high. We don't need business. Business is supposed to bless us, not break us. Business is supposed to bless us, not kill us. Business is supposed to bless us, not incapacitate us. Business is supposed to make our life and our quality of living better, not worse. Right? So we have to be wise entrepreneurs when we're moving forward, okay? So remember, rest and recuperation is part of the success strategy. Write that in your notebook. Rest and recuperation is part of the success strategy. It's not wasted time. It's not putting you behind. You just need to stop. Whenever my clients tell me that they're feeling down or they're feeling tired, you know what I tell them? Rest. Or if I say, I'm not seeing you, you're very quiet, and they tell me, well, what was going on with them? I don't tell them, okay, jump back in now. I keep checking in until they're ready to move again, because I know that that's important. All right? I don't want anybody to be ending up in the hospital because of a chronic fatigue. And then you have brain fog, and you can't remember stuff, and you're moody, and you're crashing out every day, and you're snapping at everybody, and now your entire team don't like you. Your clients probably would even like you because you're always snapping at them. Thank you for sharing out the live, Alana. I have totally appreciated it. All right, we're getting at 36, 37, 38, 39. That's good. So we'll get to the 100, right? So I don't want y'all to have any health scares. We don't need to have that in our lives as entrepreneurs. It is not necessary for building a successful business. If you all pay attention and do some research, you always see how many high-level executives and how many entrepreneurs drop down from strokes and heart attacks. How many of them struggle with hypertension? That is not what I am teaching at all, right? That is not what I want you all to do. If you have never read my ebook, Life by Design, it's an introductory to my actual book. You should go into my my bio, tap the link, go to the homepage, and then go and get the Life Design downloadable ebook, and you will see how I share how I manage my life and how I create harmony and take care of myself. And I highly recommend that you do that as a woman. Unfortunately, it wasn't written for men. All right, so ladies, you can go and get that. All right, so unmanaged stress is a silent killer and it's not just a silent killer for your body, it's also a silent killer of your dreams, because some people get so exhausted that they give up on the dream. Let me tell you some of the things that happen when you're not taking care of yourself and you're constantly in a state of stress, and how that impacts your body. Chronic stress weakens your immune system. It causes insomnia. It disturbs your sleep. It reduces your ability to be creative and innovative. It affects your ability to focus. It affects your output and your productivity. It affects your energy level. So no, you don't need that in your life. You should say no chronic stress, no stress. I don't want any stress in my life. Stress will make you look old, haggard, and drag up. Okay, let me say that a little bit better. Oh gosh. Stress will make you look old. Stress will age you, okay? Stress will make you look exhausted. Melissa said no, say it just so. Thank you. Stress will age you. Stress will turn your entire head gray. Stress will put wrinkles on your face. Stress will cause you to look angry all the time. It will disrupt your hormonal system. So we have to be mindful of managing our stress, okay? When we feel it coming on, we need to manage that. We need to take it down. Take a breather. We don't want to be aging unnecessarily. Who wants to be a millionaire and you're looking 50 years older than your original age? Not me. Your hands wrinkling before time, your hair falling off your head and it's thin, and you're looking aged because you are stressing about making money and building a business. That's not how it's supposed to be. This business have to serve me, not suffocate me. Stress also shows up in our relationships because we don't have patience with normal day-to-day issues. So we're snapping at everybody. We're giving the wrong responses because we are not capable emotionally. We don't have the tenacity to deal with anything. Not just in your business, but in your marriage and with your children. So you're snapping at your loved ones and you start to go into isolation. Especially men. I mean, women do it too, but men lean higher to isolation than women, right? Women might go and call a girlfriend and start to talk, right? It affects your self-confidence. You don't have the enthusiasm or the interest to even do your hobbies. You have no interest to even go to dinner with your friends or to do anything. It affects everything in your life, right? Don't see these signs and ignore them. Right? If you see it's impacting your relationship, pull back. If you see that you are not capable of having communication with your loved ones, you live with them. You will have to have interactions with them. But you can't snap at everybody all the time. That will break down the relationship for a business. You know, we need the business and we need the money to fund the lifestyle. But we have to find some kind of behavioral regulation and emotional regulation. And we have to schedule time for resting. You don't even want to think about having a conversation with somebody, so you start to isolate. Let's pay attention to the red flags and not get thrown into that, okay? Nobody could pour from an empty cup. Always remember that. I give an exercise to my clients all the time. I actually have a video on it, but I'll throw this out to you. When you wake up in the morning, the first thing you should do after you pray is check in with yourself and identify what you are capable of giving. Because if you do not identify what you are capable of giving or coping with during that day, you're going to go through the day giving more than you're able to give, and you're going to crash. You would not be able to deal with challenging situations because you just don't have that energy or that mental strength to deal with anything challenging. Pay attention so you will know what you need to say no to and what you can say yes to. That includes your workload. You will know how much work you are able to do on that day as well. Let me give you a framework and then we will wrap up. The framework that I have or I use is the WELL model. I like acronyms because it helps me to remember what I need to do. WELL model is work boundaries. Set digital limits. No answering of DM at 10 o'clock in the night and 2 a.m. in the morning and 5 o'clock in the morning. No. That's not the time for you to be engaging in work. There's a time for everything. Okay? According to my husband, we're not running an emergency room, so we can wait. Then E, energy renewal. Schedule rest like you schedule meetings. Some people need that because if you don't schedule it, you'll never do it. Yes, work is part of your life, but you are not a machine. The body needs time to rest and to recuperate and to heal. Then we have lifestyle alignment. Align your diet, your movement, your sleep, water intake, family time, exercising time, meditation time, doing nothing time with your goals. So you still have your business goals and you still have your ambitions, but there are other components of you. You are not one component. You shouldn't be just focused on one thing, right? You focus on work, but you're not focused on your health. You focus on work, but you're not focused on your family. You focus on work, but you're not focused on your body and your muscles dying. You focus on work, but you're not focusing on renewing your mind or strengthening your brain or nourishing and fueling the body. So yeah, work is part of living, but we need this body to keep living. And then listen to your body. Pay attention to signals. Fatigue, pain, brain fog. Today I told my husband, I said, I'm feeling tired. He said, well, rest. Yeah, listen to your body. Your body will send you warning signs, signals that it's time for you to rest, for you to pull back. And I said before, earlier in the session, that it's not always about taking a month off or anything like that. It could just be an hour. It could be a day. Take time to breathe, to go outside and spend time with nature, get some sun, take in some fresh air, be quiet. Just silence your mind and stop worrying about anything or think. Just blank the mind. Just don't think. Think about the sun. Watch the sun. Pay attention to the wind. Look at the trees blowing. Just things that you don't have to think about. And consider your age. That's very important. What you could have done in your 20s. It's not wise in your 30s, 40s, or 50s. Also, pay attention to your hormonal changes. Right? Women go through hormonal changes. Perimenopause and menopause for the women. All of these things are changes in our bodies that's affecting us. Get yourself checked out. Go get your hormones checked out. Go and get yourself checked out by a gynecologist to see where your hormone levels are. And if that is okay, then go and get some vitamins, get some minerals, I didn't even know that my iron level was low. So my husband had to go and get liquid iron for me. Have to get vitamins to replenish. All of these things happen when you are having hormonal changes. So pay attention to your body. It's not always about overworking, but check in with yourself. So pay attention to fatigue, pain, brain fog, insomnia, and compulsive eating. Pay attention to compulsive behaviors as well. I'll give you an exercise, because it's good to give you things that make you aware, but you have to do some things. You have to take some actions to lead to transformation. Write down your current stress triggers. If you don't know your stress triggers, then you would know what to look out for and how to avoid it. So write down your current stress triggers. Is it money? Is it a relationship? What is it? Right? It could be clients, it could be deadline, it could be family, it could be finances, it could be friends. What is the trigger right now? That's number one. Number 2, circle the ones that you can control or adjust immediately. Then number 3, choose one well action, that's from the formula I just gave you, you'll commit to for the next 7 days. So remember, the well was work boundaries, energy renewal, lifestyle alignment, and listening to your body, right? So you're going to choose one of them and you're going to commit to it for the next 7 days. I give you all a lot of work for this segment, boy. All right. And then I want you to break cultural patterns, things that you have learned from society or embraced from our culture. We have normalized phrases like "I'll rest when I'm dead." No, we don't. We are not saying that. That's not for us. That mindset is dangerous, and we have adapted that. Just listening to the people who adults as we growing up, we listen to that and we follow that and we speak that into our lives, and before you know it, we start behaving it. No, we will not work until we drop. That is not a positive mindset. That's not a mindset of self-love or self-care or prioritizing oneself. Health is wealth. We have the wealth quads, and health is one. Time is one. Money is one. Recreation is one, right? You could decide which one takes priority, but I'll always say health is number one, because if you don't have health, how are you doing the rest? How are you making the money? How are you doing recreation? How are you spending time with family? Health is wealth. A strong, nourished, energized person is more valuable with regards to being an entrepreneur than anything else. Entrepreneurs who exercise regularly are 25% more productive. Now you might say, oh gosh, I don't want to go to the gym. That is not necessarily what I'm saying. So instead of parking in front of the door of whatever institution you're going to, park a little distance off and walk. Instead of always taking the elevator and the escalator, take the stairs. Instead of sitting and waiting for somebody to always hand you something or to do something for you, get up and do it yourself. Right? Walk more, move. That's what we're talking about. Get on a trampoline and jump. They say if you do 100 jumps on a trampoline, you're good to go, right? It drains out the lymphatic system. It gets the energy pumping. It gets the brain pumping. Your creativity is heightened. It's not necessarily going to the gym and working out for 2 and 3 hours. That's not necessary. Have some kind of physical activity taking place, right? A moving body will stay moving. A dormant body will stay dormant. Don't sit all day in your chair and think you're being productive with regards to work and business. Your body, it needs to move. For those of you who like to journal, let me give you a journaling prompts. What is my body trying to tell me right now? 2, where am I ignoring health for hard work? And what would my business look like if I showed up from a place of health, not exhaustion? To pick one wellness ritual to protect your energy, whether it is a morning walk, journaling, shutting off your phone a little bit earlier, right? Because being on your cell phone, there is evidence that shows, study that shows that people who wake up in the morning and the first thing they do is pick up their phone, or they're on their phones for long periods of time, they struggle with more anxiety and depression. So how can you cut down on the hours you spend on the phone? Shut it off. Read a book instead of reading the phone, you know? Do something different. That device is causing anxiety in your body, whether you believe it or not. So protect your body the way you would protect your brand. Some of you protect your business more than you protect your brain and your body. You remember, that's the only one you have. You could build another business, but you wouldn't get another body. There is a documentary on Netflix that tells you what they do to us. Go and look at it. It's Google. They're telling us what they do. How they put the sound of the ping, the lighting, how they curate our content, how they keep us on the platform. When you put down the phone and the algorithm realizes that you are not engaging, they start to search your previous behavior. They show how they change the sound of the ping to trigger your brain to get back on track with the social media scrolling. They want us on the platform. They have purposely made it addictive. It's up to you to be responsible and decide that you are not going to fall into that trap. Yeah, I don't want to be addicted to anything. Addictions are not good. These distractions that they purposely force on us, it steals our time. If you think about the time that you spend on TikTok or Instagram or any of these platforms, sometimes people spend 4 or 5 hours on these platforms, you know. So if you multiply that by 10 or by 100, and then you look at that over the year, how much time of your life you have given away to a platform that you didn't even produce anything or gain anything from. I'm not saying don't engage, you know. As my husband say, you do research there, you find out about news there, you get a little laughter there. But yes, that is true and that is good, but don't be addicted and don't allow it to steal so much time of your life. Unless I am editing or I am doing some kind of work, I don't want this phone in my hand because I know what they're doing. So I am being rebellious. I'm going to show them they're not going to get me. Go and look at that documentary on Netflix. Google, where they're talking about it, that they don't even bring phones in their homes. Imagine the people working there telling you that. The people who created, the people who are orchestrating it, telling you that they themselves struggle sometimes and they know what it is they themselves are doing. All right, guys, so I will talk with you all tomorrow, please God. God bless you all, and may his angels take charge over you and your home. And may God bless you and all that concerns you, including your business, your children, your family, your spouse, anything that you hold dear and important that is honest, just, and right. Bye.